Hi everybody, huge sincere apologies, couldn't be there in person to join you today and network and connect with so many wonderful and great people here gathered at the NHS Wellbeing Collective in 2023. I'm sure it's been a fantastic day so far. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic day as it continues. Believe it or not, I have to be here. I have to be a little bit more on hand to support colleagues, team and the wider organisation, the culture at this time in relation to wellbeing. So perfect reason not to be there, but regrettable nonetheless, I couldn't join you. I was invited to come and talk to you a little bit about our approach at SCW, South Central and West, which is a CSU within the NHS. And our approach in specific relation to belonging at SCW, and how that from a wellness, well-being perspective, we very much have centred well-being at the centre, there you go, of our approach, and how we are trying our best to ensure that as we go through our journey towards belonging, which encapsulates equality, diversity, inclusion, hence the people and well-being, collaboration, connectivity, if you will, that we, how we do that, we centre that around, but it's centred that around Edie and I, put wellness, well-being at the heart of it, and that gives us that kind of output of belonging. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. This is a one shot job only, so there might be some there might be some R's, I might bumble a little bit, but I thought keep it raw, keep it authentic. That's exactly what I would do on stage, right? I can't pause, rewind and edit, so I'm not going to do that here, believe it or not. So what I want to start off is talking a little bit about the Mad Hatter philosophy. Hopefully there are slides running alongside this video. If not, they will be made available and it will all become very, very clear. But the Mad Hatter philosophy is where looking at well-being and how you approach that within an organisation, I believe, and as the foremost senior leader in the organisation, subject matter expert, some would argue I'm not, but all jokes aside, the subject matter expert on equality, diversity, inclusion, well-being, people, culture, evolution and strategy. What I believe is that actually you've got to think about it and wear multiple different hats, and those hats span being strategical, being operational, being educational, being pastoral, not in that order, not all in one time, but very often you find yourself having a conversation where you're switching hats from time to time. So Mad Hatter philosophy, and let's be honest, right? You've got to be a little bit mad to work in this space. It's so complex, so challenging, and it's changing. The evolution of it, it's like digitalization. It's evolving all the time. Great equality, diversity, inclusion, and well-being is a journey, not a destination in response to societal evolution. So we have a bit of a Mad Hatter philosophy here, and that's certainly something I bring to the table. You've got to be able to join the dots, or bring your jigsaw puzzle together. Again, slides made available after the video link today and or running concurrently. It will make sense. You visually, you've got to be able to bring that puzzle together. And a lot of organisations and cultures will be challenged by seeing a number of initiatives around well-being dotted around the organisation, provision dotted around the organisation, but actually it's disconnected, it's disjointed, it doesn't align with anything concurrent and thorough, have a golden thread running through it. That's why we created the ethos and the theme of belonging at SCW and put well-being at the centre of that. So bring your jigsaw puzzle together, join your dots, if you will, and that's something that we've committed ourselves to doing. Even if it comes down to centralising all of our well-being provision, one place, one location, accessible platform with digital accessibility embedded within that, so that we can incorporate neurodiversity, we can incorporate temporary and permanent disability, we can incorporate ethnicity and different cultural heritage in terms of language, spoken language, all of that assistive technology layered over that content and that central provision. Really, really important. Join the dots, bring your puzzle together. Make sure it's not just about you. It's not just about me. I know you're here listening to me now. I promise this video will not last 15 minutes. Who wants to do that, right? But it's not about me. It's about people. So go out and engage and get the voice of people. Establish what something like belonging or well-being, for that matter, if you're going to be focusing on that on its own, what does it mean to people? Establish a statement that is reflective of your organisation, that gives that kind of verbal context as to what it means across your organisation, different directorates, different reports, different bandings, different areas of work, internal, external facing, so forth, so on, patient facing, non-patient facing. That will enable you, as it did with us, to create a bespoke model where we wrap equality, diversity, inclusion around it, well-being at the heart. We get that right. We believe that's a solid measure of feeling like you belong within our organisation, as which we all want to feel like we belong within the wider NHS. Keep it simple. Keeping it simple, equitable, diverse, inclusive recruitment, creating equality, diversity, inclusion, well-being, emerging enrichment opportunities, talent development likewise, looking after our people, develop agile, inclusive workplaces, hybrid, agile working, what's your practices, what's your benchmark, where are you seeing it done well, bringing those procedures, bringing those processes into your organisation, investing in software and technology if you need to make sure that we're doing that, but also getting into the key decision makers of procurement, your digital technology forums. How are we making sure that there is consideration across the board for inclusion? And so we've got that agile and inclusive workplace. Get the basics right by doing what you say you're going to do. It's a journey. I'm unapologetic about that. You keep it simple. It's a journey. Some things will get right, some things won't get right, some things will have to steer a slightly different direction and learn from that. We'll have to navigate round the rocks if your journey is a boat. We'll have to take a different direction on track if your journey is a train. Whatever metaphor works for you, right? But do what you say you're going to do, because integrity and credibility in this space, particularly around well-being, it amplifies the sense of safety. If I know I work in an organisation that will do what it says it's going to do, that will provide me with support, that is investing in support and provision for me, cares about the well-being of its people, that inevitably, by osmosis, gives me a greater sense to be my authentic, extraordinary self. And when I'm not feeling so great, be safe and feel that I can talk and open up about that. So I'm unapologetic about that. In our people and wellbeing strategic approach, it's not a waterfall. It's not a top-down cascade message from the MD and the senior leaders must do this, objectified and what have not built into key measures and metrics. It's a blend. There is that diamond piece, if you will, a bit of that top-down in terms of engaging with the senior leaders, making sure we've got that sponsorship, making sure we've got the engagement, they're clear on what their commitments and actions are, and we've done that through investing in development series with them, bespoke development series for that matter, and then centering it around your 5 steps and making sure they are at the heart of what we're saying, but having that bottom-up action plan as well, which is where we've amplified, embraced and inspired and empowered the voice of our people through our employee networks, collaboration with the data-driven insight through workforce disability quality standard reports, your equivalent RES reports, gender pay gap reports, staff surveys, so forth and so on. Alignment with the broader NHS is key. So we make sure that we're embracing a philosophy of belonging. That it's in line with the kind of external philosophy, and actually we're not behind the times. We make sure that we can identify within the people promise where, if you think about compassionate inclusive workforce, that we have that specific text around feeling like it's a place where we can belong. So we've got that synergy there, and that's really, really important. And making sure that your partnerships, your affiliations in the broader NHS, whether it be through NHS employers, leaning into some of that fantastic learning resource through NHS Select, collaborating with the leadership networks from a BME perspective, health and care and women leaders perspective, LGBTQ plus perspective, doing that collaboration. Success is really important to me, of course. I'm not here to just talk and wax lyrical and actually don't do anything. I think, I talk about take action, make impact, but actually, monitor and report outcomes from 2022 and 2023 RES and RIDES and GPG, track your staff survey, make sure that you can evidence and define that all the actions within the bottom-up action plan, which we have, that's that bottom part of the diamond, it has specific actions, what the benefits of that action is and how that is being measured. What is the measure of the outcome, which is really, really key. Working collaboratively, like I've touched on before, with employee networks, senior leaders, key stakeholders, being transparent and accountable, reporting into our workforce assurance development group, staff partnership forums, our external reporting, which is all available on our website, but also making sure that you align with your organisational development cultural plans, your learning and development plans and provision, and making sure you're feeding to your overarching people plan. If you want well-being to last, be sustainable, if you want to deliver a real culture of provision and support, you've got to do those things. You've got to join the dots. It's going to be a tapestry that you weave, a multitude of threads, but ultimately it comes together to weave this tapestry that has wellness, well-being at the heart of it. And for SCW, that's exactly what we have. measure your maturity, understand where you were, understand where you want to be. By 2025, we have we have a measure where we want to be culturally proactive. We believe that currently we're becoming strategically active in terms of where we are with our strategy and implementation of some of what I've shared with you today. But we've moved from being operationally active into more strategically active, and we've definitely evolved from being operationally reactive. So have a maturity model that takes you through those phases and stages, and don't worry if by 2025 you haven't quite hit, for us, culturally proactive. It's a journey. Remember, it's a journey. It's not a destination. And actually, things will change. Like digitization, the world of ED&I, well-being, it evolves so much, so quickly. You've got to be able to adapt. And so don't pin all your initiatives and objectives on they must land and they must deliver by that point. Give yourself some room not to fail. Let's not, that's not, we want to be ambitious in terms of aiming to fail, but actually recognize that some things will work, some things won't, some things you'll want to enhance, some things you'll want to maintain. And it's okay to build a provision in the way that you deliver your narrative around, strategically, operationally, educationally and pastorally, how we are approaching wellness, well-being, equality, diversity, inclusion, people and well-being within your organisation. And, another measure is also the accreditations, is awards. Now, I'm not in this role for accreditations and awards and accolades. It's great if they come. We've certainly achieved something at SCW, which has been fantastic. A little bit earlier than we maybe originally thought that we would be able to demonstrate that and evidence that. But they're a great kite mark. They're a great benchmark. If you can evidence to award bodies, accreditations, that you've done this work and you're committed to this work, then take the plaudits, take the reward. It has dual benefit. Those in the role, those in the work of delivering wellness and well-being will tell you it's a tough toil and reward type relationship in this space, particularly when you add equality, diversity, inclusion to that. So where you get that reward and accolade, that's a great thing, great feeling. But it's great for everybody else. It's great for the organisational culture, but it's great for the existing workforce to see progression and see that being benchmarked and measured. And it's fantastic for attraction of new talent, retention of best talent. So all of that stuff. If you've got the opportunity to submit some of your work and say, look, this is our approach, this is what we're doing, and we think it's worth a bit of recognition. We think it's worth a bit of kind of let us know, give us some feedback. And I mean, that's why we do that. We're always looking for feedback, whether it be internally to our people, amplifying the voice of said people, or actually externally in that kind of benchmark and kite mark space. So that's it. 12 minutes, quick overview. I would have had 15 and 20. You can't be staring at me on my face for that long. You will get bored. I would get bored of this. You would get bored of this, no doubt. So I'm going to finish off there. There is a video that I've provided that just gives a little synopsis of our journey belonging here at SCW. Hopefully, we can get that played to follow in my chat. And just once again, sorry I couldn't be there with you in person. Sorry I couldn't take any questions in person. My contact details will be shared if you've got questions for me, if you want me to clarify things, expand on things, if you want to connect, network, if you want to collaborate, give me a shout. That's us. That's how we're centering and embodying wellness and well-being. It's at the heart of our model, the heart of our approach. It's the middle step of our leading five. It's the core pillar, if you will. And I feel massively passionate about the well-being element of the work and the intrinsic link between equality, diversity, inclusion and well-being, and enabling people to feel like they can thrive, flourish, be their authentic, extraordinary selves and belong within the NHS and belong within SCW. Thank you for your time. Take care. Have a great festive period, diverse festive celebration to everybody and all. Take care.